Sometimes it can be really hard to find new manga when you're as big a fan of manga as I am, because I've tried out reading almost everything that people commonly recommend, but I'm still always looking for something new. If you've ever found yourself feeling that way, then I've got 10 manga that I consider hidden gems that you can check out. Rooster Fighter is one of those rare gag mangas that manages to be something really special and more than just a weird comedy. It's funny to say that considering it's literally a story about a chicken who fights weird as hell giant monsters, but hey, it's just that good. In the first chapter alone, you'll be laughing your ass off at the weird humor of the rooster's inner monologue, tearing up at the tragic story of an old man who befriends the rooster, and then getting super hyped for the incredibly well-drawn action. I have no idea why the art is so incredibly good for this gag manga, but I really think that and the legitimately hilarious writing will make this manga really popular in the future. Also, with the little hints being dropped that point towards a larger narrative, I think this one will likely deliver on its incredible potential. So check this one out if you're a fan of manga like One Punch Man and want something really dumb, but at the same time legitimately amazing. The Girl from the Other Side is a manga totally filled to the brim with mysterious and eerie atmospheres, while at the same time, it balances that out by being super wholesome and cute at times. It's a story about a world that's essentially post-apocalyptic due to a mysterious plague. This plague turns people into these shadowy, anthropomorphic creatures that eventually lose their sense of self and cease to really be human. Our story follows one of those creatures who has yet to lose all of their memories and humanity, and a young girl that they're caring for. She was abandoned after her hometown was hit by the plague, and so this plague-afflicted person was the only one there left to care for her. For the beginning of the story, we just follow the daily lives of these two living in this ghost town, and it's really cute, but at the same time, we start to learn more about the mysterious world. And so eventually, other people and plague-afflicted creatures start to become aware of these two, and their peaceful life starts to come crashing down. A lot of really intriguing mysteries about the strange world of this story start to unravel around this point. And I don't want to spoil too much more, but trust me, the pacing of the mystery is great, and the world building is really cool, and it's got some spectacular artwork. So check this one out if you like manga with strange, kind of eerie art styles, and you like weird stories that reveal their mysteries with a satisfying slow burn. So everybody knows One Punch Man and Mob Psycho 100, but I haven't seen that many people online talking about this fun little spin-off manga written by one called Reigen, the man with the max spirituality level of 131. I mean, really it's just more Mob Psycho 100 goodness, but it focuses on Reigen Arataka and the other side characters instead of Mob. If you haven't read Mob Psycho, I recommend you read that first because you'll miss out on a lot of references and you won't be familiar with the characters. However, that being said, it is possible to jump right in and have a good time with Reigen. This story follows the incredibly charismatic Reigen Arataka, a phony psychic in a world where real psychics and evil spirits exist. He manages to get by in all these supernatural situations with only ingenuity and a little bit of conman charisma, albeit mixed with a surprising amount of genuine human empathy. It's always hilarious to see what kind of solution this guy with no real powers will pull out of his butt and how he sometimes does a legit better job than the real psychics. The highlight of the manga is definitely the hilarious humor, but like all of One's manga, it also has a lot of heart and character development that gets you to legitimately be invested in the absurd, poorly drawn manga that you're reading. So check this one out if you're a fan of One Punch Man or Mob Psycho, or if you just want to read something weird that'll make you laugh. The author of Angel Oil, Tatsuyuki Tanaka, is more known for their work in animation, but they did release a few manga too, my favorite being Angel Oil. I mean, just look at the art and the atmosphere. Angel Oil is set in a dingy cyberpunk future in a city where every square inch is packed to the brim with machinery. We see a story unfold about a world of mostly robotic people who are all running out of the oil they need to survive. It's thought that ascending higher in the labyrinthian city will lead to another oil source, so the main character tries to go and get some oil to bring back. But as they ascend, they're met by stranger and more dangerous environments. The mysteries of this city and society start to unravel through the journey upwards as people's growing desperation for oil leads to chaos surrounding the main character. It's a really odd style of manga that will catch you off guard with its stunning art and its strange storytelling approach. Unfortunately though, I can only find 5 chapters online and it seems like the manga might not have been completed. However, what's here is a manga like no other. So definitely check this one out if you want a unique cyberpunk story that's less on the neon side and more on the grimy side instead. Little Forrest is one of the prettiest slice-of-life manga you'll ever find. The watercolor pages especially really capture the beauty of nature and food. The story is quite simple. It's just about a woman going around the forest around her house and finding fresh ingredients to cook with. She cooks all kinds of stuff from silverberry jam to chapati and curry to Worcestershire sauce, and there ends up being a lot of fun in seeing the tons of different dishes being prepared in such a pleasant and pretty story. It's not gonna blow your mind narratively or anything, but the characters are interesting and the personal or cultural stories behind the dishes are really fun. It's just the perfect manga to wind down with when reading before bed or something like that. So check this one out if you're a fan of slice of life or you just want to see some breathtaking art. Dai Dark is the newest manga from the creator of Dorohedoro, Q Hayashida. If you haven't read or watched Dorohedoro, then you're in for a very unique and wild ride, because nobody else makes manga quite like Q Hayashida. She perfectly blends absurdist, goofy humor with a grimy horror aesthetic that at times does have legitimately scary atmospheres. The story here in Dai Dark follows 4 beings with otherworldly powers as they travel all around space while they're being hunted down by a totalitarian cult-like society who control most of the universe, who are known as the Solar Mass. It's a little hard to sum up the story other than that because it's quite loosely structured at first and pretty absurd. But trust me, this one builds its world up really well and eventually it starts to have a really compelling narrative and mystery to it. While the characters are all super weird and quirky to the point where the manga seems like a straight up comedy at first, they all also have legitimately interesting mysterious backstories that unfold slowly and will keep you hooked from chapter to chapter. So check this one out if you're a fan of art and manga like Blam or Junji Ito stuff, but you want something with a completely absurdist tone that's packed to the brim with imaginative world building. The Walking Man is a manga that will make you appreciate the little moments of peace in life. The story is about this guy who makes it a point to walk around a lot and to just embrace the little joys of life to the fullest. Often they stop and interact with people that many would just walk past without a second thought, and this is often what ends up forming the interesting little stories in The Walking Man. In the first chapter, they run into someone in their neighborhood who's birdwatching, and they just take the time to stop and ask them to show them the local birds. In another chapter, they climb a tree to help some kids who got their toy stuck up there. Most of the stories are just little wholesome snippets like this, but they really draw you in with their peaceful mood and the stellar art that depicts the wonder of nature really well through not just the artistry of individual drawings, but also through interesting panel layouts and creative points of view. So check this one out if you like manga that leave you feeling calm, or if you just want to see some really nice depictions of nature. Boys Run the Riot is a touching story about a trans boy in high school named Ryo learning to love and embrace their identity. A new friendship with another guy named Jin, who has the same passion for men's fashion that Ryo does, allows Ryo to open up and find someone who accepts them when they thought no one would. Ryo and Jin's journey, striving to create a clothing brand together, ends up being a really exciting and heartwarming story about the power of using clothes to express yourself and just being proud of who you are. The narrative is well paced and the manga does a great job of getting you invested and building up to the hard-hitting emotional moments by taking the time to really explore the well-developed characters. It's just a really good drama / slice of life kind of story that'll make you not want to put it down. So check this one out if you're looking for a thoughtful LGBTQ+ story, or if you just want a fun read about trying to start a clothing brand that will get you hooked with its great characters. If I had to summarize what it's like reading Ashizuri Suizokukan in one sentence, I would say that it feels like a surreal memory of a dream you had as a kid. I know that sounds a little weird, but this is just one of those odd and unique stories that will mesmerize you with its trippy atmosphere. Ashizuri Suizokukan follows a young girl as she wanders around otherworldly locations motivated by slightly nonsensical goals, like getting lost trying to follow a blimp through the streets of Paris, until the entire city warps and morphs into a completely different world, or visiting a museum that's displaying all kinds of strange inventions from a weird alternate future. It's a manga where it's hard to really describe the appeal if you just focus on saying what actually happened in the narrative. But trust me, all the little stories are just pretty funny, and sometimes they'll resonate on a deep emotional level despite the fact that the scenarios the characters in are just so weird and surreal. So check this one out if you're a fan of surreal types of stories at all, or if you just want to enjoy seeing some really unique blends of art styles and techniques. People might be familiar with Taiyou Matsumoto's most famous works like Ping Pong or Tekken Kinkreet because of their incredible anime adaptations. But a manga of theirs I rarely see mentioned is Gogo Monster. It's a shame because it's one of my favorite manga of all time. It's a surreal coming-of-age story that's told beautifully through its unique art style and panel layouts, as well as its emotionally evocative writing that feels very personal. The main character Yuki is always talking about these supernatural entities they see and talk to, and is ostracized at school for it. Gogo Monster actually does a really good job of making it ambiguous whether these beings Yuki talks about are real or if it's just their overactive imagination. This is especially apparent in the fact that Yuki is starting to talk about how they're able to perceive these beings less and less as they get older. It becomes a thematically rich story about coming to terms with losing a part of your childhood self, but it also has mystery, intrigue, and drama that builds to an awesome climax too. So please check this one out if you want something like you've never read before and have the patience for a slow-burning, surreal story that really pays off in the end. Okay, so there's 10 manga that I consider hidden gems. Hopefully they eventually get the attention they deserve, and hey, a few of them are relatively new manga, so maybe they will soon. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video and got some new manga to read, and please let me know some of your favorite manga hidden gems in the comments. I would have never found a few of the ones on the list if it weren't for the awesome community of people who've commented on my other manga videos, so thanks for that. Anyways, that's all I've got for now, but I'll definitely be doing more manga videos in the future, so subscribe if you want to see those, and bless your soul if you're already subscribed and supporting my channel. I really appreciate you all, and I hope you have a great day.